Welcome back to Be Productive. I think I have one of the best jobs in the world because even though I am a productivity strategist in my own right, I love to learn from other industry experts. And man, the value that was brought in today's show was top notch. One of the first things we talked about is leadership and how you can shine as a leader. We have to remember that whether we have an organization of 1,000 or even if it's just an organization of 1, we are leading. And we have to start thinking about, are we communicating?
Hello and welcome to Salaam Namaste, broadcasting live from the Now Media TV studios in Houston. This is Saji Salam. This week we have a very special guest on the show. We have with us Dr. Santosh Kumar, who is the director of UN Emergency Medical Response Team at Gaza. Dr. Santosh is also is the head of the Department of Emergency Medicine and Orthopedics at Trivandrum Medical College Hospital, Kerala. Santosh Kumar, please welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Santosh, first off, let's start off by thanking you for this service to the humanity that you're providing across the globe. It is a noble endeavor, and many of us respect and admire you for the work that you do.
Thank you so much.
I know that you just returned from Gaza and are going to be going back to Gaza very soon. So could you talk a little bit about where you were, I think since November, what your journey to Gaza and what you experienced there?
Yeah, as you know that the war in Gaza started by October 7th, and I was actually at that time working in Ukraine, having it was like a training program for doctors and nurses and paramedics in frontline places of Ukraine. And as you know that every health worker who goes to the war scenario, they have when they cross 2 months or 3 months, they have a R&R, a rest and recuperation, which is very essential for working in such a stressful situation. Actually, I was coming back from Ukraine to Kerala for an R&R, for a break, and suddenly in November I was called by the Project Hope director, and they asked me if I would be able to go to Gaza as a medical director, and also to lead an emergency medical team into Gaza. So I actually, it was as you know, in the whole media, it's an unprecedented misery going on in all Gaza. It's not like any other places, any other experiences also. So I immediately said I would go, and on 15th of November. I headed back to Egypt from my place, and it was in Egypt, it was we thought that it would be easier to get across Gaza because it was a big humanitarian crisis, and there was not much doctors. The hospitals were bombed, and there's no the supplies, not only medical supplies, even food, water, and the blankets. Or even mattresses were like they didn't have anything like that sort, and it was like a big crisis. So we thought that the non-government organizations and UN would be allowed to go into Gaza soon, but it took like 1 month of effort just to make this whole system to respond to that one. So and finally, like after 1 month, OCHA, the UN wing, which is looking after the coordination between the organizations and the UN agencies, came with a clear procedure to get to transfer emergency medical teams into Gaza. So by beginning of December, we could actually start this procedure, and it seems like we have to register with the OCHA, and all the documents will be shared between different governments, including Egypt, Palestine, and Israel. And finally, when we got the approval, we moved in as a convoy from Cairo early in the morning, and almost like 6 o'clock. Then we actually reached this Ismailia tunnel, which is like a tunnel which goes under the Suez Canal, and then starts almost like 15 checkpoints. I think that was like each checkpoint would take like half an hour to 1 hour to cross. And we were like waiting for hours, and we will not be like most of the time. It took like 2 days to reach the Gaza border. It's not the distance, but the checking, the procedures were so long. And Al Arish is the nearest city, which is like 50 kilometers away from Gaza. And from Al Arish, when you travel, you can see like trails of like trucks waiting for all these 50 kilometers distance, and all these trucks are full of aid materials for Gaza, and it's not going inside at all. So when you reach Gaza, there's another checkpoint, the final one, which is like which takes like 5 hours to get into this across this one. Everything is taken out and it's like checked in. And it's like a big like a checking point. And after that one, 5 hours of checking, we go to the Palestine. And one of the most typical thing, which I like, most unusual thing I recognized about this border between Egypt and Gaza is that it's really distinct. When you step across the border, you can the smell is so different. You know that we are getting into Rafah. Rafah is a place, is a town, just like 14 square kilometers, and it's like now it's almost inhabited by 1.5 million people. And 1.5 million people, all people are displaced people, and they live in the tents. And the distinctive smell is like the smell of like feces. It's like the hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, and methane. You can understand the unmistakable smell of that it has, because it's like as you see that there's like a unending rows of this small tents. And it's like hardly enough space for the tents. So people don't build up toilets. So toilets are usually provided by the UN agencies or INGOs. And each toilet is actually like, it will be like used by 500 to 1,000 people a single day. And you can understand there is no water, no food. And it's like when people use it like that, it gets overflowed. It spills it spills everywhere. It's just damaged, and it gets into the tents, all the places people live, in the roads, everywhere. It's like that. and it's like you can smell it so distinctively that you get to know about these things only when you go into the tents. We run a Project Hope runs a big, not like it's a clinic inside like a big conclave of like 15,000 tents, and on the way you can see that's like people are actually like every day there is an outbreak. Or one day it could be like a typhoid, another day it could be like a hepatitis A, another day the giardiasis or dysentery, shigellosis. Every day is like a outbreak, and we are dealing with outbreaks. And outbreaks are and people, that's like there's no latrines, very few latrines, and when they get diarrhea, it's devastating. Upper respiratory infections are quite different. It's like people can they can keep to a room and they can cough and they might die out of it. But diarrhea, they need to go to this toilets, and when you go to toilets, like 50 or 100 people standing there on the queue, and when you have this feeling of diarrhea, you know that you're not going to make it. Then it's like it's this like they're so much in pain and agony, and at one moment, the most difficult thing I have faced in my life is like people losing dignity. It's a dignity and self-respect. It's not that they don't know about this, like hygiene or something like that. The diarrhea is so impending and so painful on them that finally a single moment, they just sit where they stand. Mm-hmm. And they have to do it like that. And you can see this like almost 30% of people, when you go to this clinic, either side of it, it's like people are doing this one, and it's like they're covering their faces or something like that. And they are actually crying inside their covered faces. I think it's like it's more than seeing this injuries, or more than seeing this people like the death of the people or bombings. I feel that this is like when the whole population loses its dignity, it's really unbearable even for a health worker like me, who have seen a lot of like things like that. So,
Dr. Santosh, I mean, I think what I'm hearing is really tragic, and hearing this from someone who's been there, seeing this firsthand is I mean, really an eye opener to what's going on. But let's come back after a short break and we talk more about this.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company, the time you spend with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget. with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Well, welcome back as we continue this conversation with Dr. Santosh. Dr. Santosh, so you are going to be going back again to Gaza, right? And Gaza meaning is mostly Rafah at this point? Is that what it is? And when is your plan to go back to Gaza?
I'll be going on to like in Monday back to Cairo, and it takes like another same journey. Like we need to apply to the OCHA or the UN organization, and our teams will be actually now the EMT team is working in Al-Aqsa Hospital. Al-Aqsa Hospital is the only hospital which is actually functional in the middle Gaza. The place is called Deir el-Bala. As you can see in the news, even today, like there's like a lot of patients are being shifted from Khan Yunis to this place called Deir el-Bala, and our team is like almost like 20 people, 20 doctors and nurses, including anesthetists, surgeons, orthopedic surgeons, and plastic surgeons, and OT nurses are still working there around the clock. In the ER and also in the operation theaters and also in the post-operative wards of this hospital. And so it's like when I get back, there'll be another team coming with me, and most probably like in the beginning of on March, we'll be going again. So again. So first we reach Rafah. This is Rafah is the first place where we can enter into, and from Rafah there's like going to this middle Gaza is yet another like a tough journey. It's through this middle war zones. It's like you need to inform again the Israeli government and this army, and also Palestinian people, governments, and like you need to make this sure that the way is deconflicted. But still, I think that when we are moving from Rafah to this Deir el-Bala, it's like almost like 25 kilometers of distance. It was the most scariest travel I have ever had. Maybe like it's like though this seems to be like a deconflicted, you can see that the missiles are coming down almost like 50 to 100 meters away, and when you move on the left side, it's like a sea, and right side, it's like the bombings are happening, and you can see the Khan Yunis, the smoke coming from out there, and this bombing going there. And though it takes like hardly 1.5 hours, to reach there, it takes a lot of energy out of you. And once you reach there, this hospital was like, this Al-Aqsa hospital was one of the, as I said, it's only one hospital which is actually functional in this middle Gaza. And all around this hospital, it's been bombed. Even the warehouse and the buildings in front of the hospital is also bombed. And actually, the medical teams who were working there, they were evacuated because it was so scary, and the doctors thought that the hospital would be also bombed. So they have evacuated, and we had our team, when we reached there, only 4 doctors and few nurses working with there, and almost like 400 to 500 patients there. It was really a nightmare.
Dr. Santosh, clinically, what kind of cases are you seeing there? As a surgeon, right? I mean, your primary role is as a surgeon. What kind of cases are you seeing? And then what are some of the other issues that are showing up from a clinical standpoint?
It's like when we were there, there's like active conflict going on, active war going on, and you can see that like you can really understand how it actually does. People say that once they trace the phone numbers or something like that, you can hear these drones then coming in. It'll be flying really high, then it comes down and down, almost like it's really a big noise of this drones when they really come down. And once this drones comes down, people know that there's going to be a missile coming right back on this one. So they start running. They start running every directions because they don't know which place to run, because the missiles can come to any other place. But what happens is that there's like, as I told, each tent has like 15 to 20 people, and most of them are mothers and children, very, very small children and infants and less than 1 year or 5 years. And mothers and children get caught up there. They cannot run because it takes a while for them to take all these things, or like to prepare them even to move. So that makes a big problem. And once, as I said, like before they start moving, usually the missile comes in and strikes the whole place, and 500 meters around it is actually totally destroyed. And people can't actually go into it, because then comes the next 3 sets of missiles, which is aimed at the aid workers or the rescue workers. So people know that, and they have to wait. So after all this procedure, it takes like 3 hours or something like that for the final missiles to land in, and they don't know if they still take the risk to go in and take this one. So after this bombing, if you are in the ER, the thing is like, you can see this, you will be seeing, first trail is like this, a group of people will be coming with the small children who are already, most of them are already dead. That's because you can see the very gruesome injuries. The parts of the missiles going through the head and coming out of the skull and taking the brain out. The chest injuries, the abdomen injuries, the eviscerated intestines and the whole thing, the amputated limbs. And it's like most touching scene is that, that's like these children were live. They were live before, just like 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours ago. And the mothers and their parents, they can't get to the knowledge, they can't come to the understanding of a death in just two hours. It takes like they can't even like adjust or like imagine this thing, and they cry and they ask us to do something, but we know that it's not possible because almost all these children are dead. And even to lay them there and to have give them a blanket, it takes a lot of time. Then comes the patients, like adult patients with the multiple injuries. Again, the dead patients are not usually taken. The patients who have like the initial injuries are mostly life-threatening ones, which is like head injuries, chest injuries, and abdominal injuries, and pelvic injuries. So though I am a orthopedic surgeon, I had to do like laparotomies, like a lot of laparotomies. It's basically assisting laparotomies. Laparotomies are the ones, or thoracotomies are the ones which is going to save a lot of life. So usually the general surgeon will be busy with one or two surgeries, and the rest of the patients will be waiting. So they'll ask us to start the surgeries by opening the abdomen and doing a 4-quadrant emergency packing of the abdomen, and maybe if there's a splenectomy, there's an injury to spleen, we used to do the splenectomies and liver suturings, but the intestinal suturings has to be done by someone who is like a skilled one. So we open it and keep it like that, and most of the patients, I think they had all these patients would have lost a lot of blood as they come after like 3 to 4 hours of the injury. So quite often there's a lot of death on the table, but still I think it's like we would be able to manage some of the patients there. Mm-hmm. So most of the injuries in the initial phase of after a bombing or a missile would be like thoracotomies, laparotomies, pelvic fixations, and head injuries, like managing of head injuries like that. Mm-hmm. And then comes the big chunk of orthopedic injuries.
Mm-hmm. So, what caught my attention was that the aid workers are not able to go and attend to the patients after a missile lands, because they are worried that there's more missiles that are coming. And so this is so for the medical teams too, and the aid workers, there is a fair amount of I should say, concern for their lives as well while they are trying to deal with this situation. So this is really tragic. But let's come back and talk more, Santosh. There's a lot to cover after a short break.
Hi, folks. Robert Quigley here, America's Independent, Washington, D.C. We're on the road to the White House. Today, it's foreign policy in the Middle East. As you know, I lived and worked overseas for 10 years in both East Asia and Europe and gained a wealth of international relations experience. We've had bloody conflict for 75 years between the Palestinians and the Israelis. The age of fossil fuels is in their last chapter. Quigley supports peace in this case. Quigley supports both the Israelis and the Palestinians. Quigley will help build self-sustainable communities and countries. Note that climate impacts are likely to hit the region badly and make both areas uninhabitable. Nevada comes to mind as a secondary place for the desert dwellers to live. Armageddon might mean the heat of the sun. It might mean war. It might mean that we need to rethink our approach to Israel and Palestine. Our Middle East policy is futile. Go to robertquigleyforpresident.com, donate what you can, and together we will make it work for all of us.
Paid for and approved by the Robert Quigley for President campaign.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure, and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock-bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again. Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now. Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Welcome back to this conversation with Dr. Santosh. Dr. Santosh, how does the situation in Gaza compare with many other conflict zones you've been to? I think you've served in about 40 to 50 such conflict situations. How does the situation in Gaza compare to all that?
I would say that it's if you consider the danger of the operations, I think it's the much more dangerous situations were in Somalia and Central African Republic and Congo. The basic difference is there are people with guns on the streets, and there's not much organized governance or governmental structures there in these places were in Africa. So in that places indiscriminate shooting, and you can't get shot even when you are in the road or in a hospital, because there's nothing like that. Nothing to presume or to understand that there is such things will be there. So, but Gaza is totally different on the other scale, that here it's you don't have anyone to negotiate or with, and there is not much people with guns on the street. But this indiscriminate bombings and missiles attacks and this the shellings is it's more affecting the civilian population. And on one side, you can see the whole scenario of injuries happening, trauma happening, and there's not much hospitals or much facilities to take care of them. Even the hospital which I worked, we went out of external fixators, suture materials, antibiotics, IV fluids, and people will be even for post-op dressing, there was not much materials like that, and materials took the medical supplies it takes almost more than 2 months from Cairo to reach this Gaza. It's this 2 months is really unacceptable, because by the time it reaches, more people have already died. So when you look at the statistics, you can see that it's almost it's nearing 29,300, but the real number is much higher, because this doesn't count the people who have died, for example, infants who have been, infants have died because you can, as you see the tents, it's full of mud, filth, and all those things. It's totally unhygienic atmosphere, and people don't want to even deliver there. So they wait for the pain, and finally when the pain is too much, they go to the hospital, which does a C-section, and they are discharged after 1 hour, because the hospital cannot, there's a big queue in the hospital also. And when they come back, it's again, the infants are actually exposed to all these unhygienic places, and they succumb and they die. It's not much data is actually taken from, we don't have much data regarding how much is the infant mortality rate or how much is the maternal mortality rate. And look at the non-communicable diseases, non-communicable disease, for example, a cardiovascular a patient who has got a myocardial infarction and is on the drugs. When he stops the drugs, I think it's like hardly after one week, he gets the next attack because the drugs are life-saving for him. It's the same with hypertension. So a lot of people die like that also. And this is like the two important things I have seen in this scenario is like in Gaza is that, for one thing is that people are actually cornered. Right from North Gaza, they were shifted, or they had to flee from North Gaza to Middle Gaza, then Middle Gaza to Khan Yunis, and Khan Yunis to again to Rafah. And Rafah now has like 1.5 million people, and now they're bombing the Rafah, and the people again shifting from this Rafah to Deir al-Bala, and it's like every citizen of Palestine has been shifted like this several times. Minimum is like 3 or 4 times, and maximum it's like more than 10 times. Even it doesn't depend on any strata of strata of population. Right from the richest people, lowest, like a poor people, everyone has been shifted. So, and now they're actually cornered to this place and they bomb. And this doesn't happen before, because people you could go to some other places which was safer. But for people in Palestine, they don't have a safe place. Though in spite of this non-availability of safe place, they don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have electricity, they don't have communication, they don't have fuel. And like normal life, we can't really imagine such a life in a modern age like this, and it's like imposed on them. The second thing is that usually someone comes to in many of the other scenarios, someone comes to rescue the people or civilians and take them out of these places. But here, it's again not happening. There is like a whole world. I feel that the whole world is just looking like at them. Everybody sees these things as if they are seeing a video game in the different channels, and they don't know much about it. Like the loss of concern as a human society is so much reflecting on this Gaza, that we feel that are we humans as societal people? If it's like a society means to help each other or to cooperate with each other. But here, what we can see is that when people are dying, we've been killed, people are cornered, people are denied of the essentials, everyone is sitting at it. This is really, really unprecedented, and I don't remember such things happening before also. It's more than a health crisis, it's a humanitarian and a crisis of human species as such, I think. That's what I feel.
Mm-hmm. So this one is truly horrendous to hear about all this, and like you said, there is the humanitarian crisis about all this. From when you look at it from a clinician, yes, you see all those trauma cases showing up, and the helplessness that you're not able to really do much given the limited resources. But the humanitarian toll is also mind-boggling. Let's talk a little bit about your other, one of the other recent wars that you were involved in. Can you talk a little bit about Ukraine and what you saw there and how it is different from what you're seeing in Gaza?
Well, yes, I was there in Ukraine, in 2022 February, and it's just 3 weeks after the war I was there. It's like Ukraine is in the beginning of the war, it's almost like a similar situation, like a huge exodus of people fleeing from Ukraine. It's almost like Ukraine has 42 or 43 million people, and almost 8.3 million people had shifted out of Ukraine. And as you know, this in the eastern part of the Ukraine is the place where the front line is situated, and And people have to have this displacing is like something which is really, really so much painful in everyone's life, because the house does not only means like a place to sleep. It's like a place where you are born, you have culturally rooted, you have your friends there, you have your whole life spent there. It's like it's something which is so much dear to someone's heart. So when people are asked to displace, it makes a huge trauma in themselves. And Ukraine is like, as you see, there's like only like women and children were allowed to go out of the country, and men were actually asked to go into the fighting. And as there's like compared to Gaza, there is not the civilian trauma is not this huge, but the other part of it, like when people are displaced, they have like a lot of issues coming after it. That's like the breakdown of the systems, collapse of the systems, health system fails. People move to the places where it's not accessible to health, and the whole like the death toll or the morbidity and mortalities are most of these mortalities are due to like lack of medicines, lack of medical supplies, and when they're like when, as I said earlier, they're like non-communicable diseases and communicable diseases coming into play, diarrhea, upper respiratory infections devastate, and a lot of people succumb to that, and old people who are like on drugs, when they don't get these drugs, they die out of this one. And the collapse of the systems cannot take, for example, a primary health system which was catering to 5,000, 10,000 people, suddenly gets like 20,000 to 30,000 people, and they cannot cope with that. So the scale of Ukraine is a huge country. So the scale is like huge. And we had the response was really great in terms of like we had like a lot of support from the Western countries and also the US or like European countries, and even from India or other places like Asia. There was a lot huge support for the people to overcome this one. And of course, there's like hospitals where we had to like teach them how to manage with this huge number of trauma, huge number of war trauma. Especially the war trauma is totally different from what we see on the road traffic accidents. And in such terms, it's like it was like the whole geography is so huge, but and it's just because the geography is huge, we had to spread out our activities, and resources was quite good, and response was also quite good. When we were coming, not much, like most of the recovery has been there, but especially there was like few instances of missiles coming in every day, and this makes the life difference because it usually hits the water supply or electricity supply or something like that, and normal life is affected a little every weekend days. But people get adjusted to that, and life is like something going on, and I don't know what will be happening in the next months after that. So, but in terms of like the people, they are all similar. The Russian people and Ukrainian people are all like similar in every terms. The religion or race or everything is really the context itself is totally different from Gaza. So I think these two are like non-comparables. Like one is like on the other one extreme, and others other extreme. Only thing which would be comparable would be Yemen. Yemen would be really something which is so close to Gaza when in the early times when the war was started there.
Thank you for sharing this experiences, Santosh. We'll come back after another short break.
Hi, folks. Robert Quigley here, America's Independent, Washington, D.C. We're on the road to the White House. Folks, the Quigley team is Team America. We are the centrist problem solvers. We work from facts, evidence, experience, and expertise. We help each other. We use the tools of government to cover your back. We lift all boats. We shall slay the tyranny of the law. We need you. Our road is rocky. Our climb is steep. Our goal is a land of neighbors. Folks, every dollar you donate makes you an owner in our new cooperative America, a shareholder, if you will. Go to my website, robertquigleyforpresident.com. Find the donor box button. Team America needs your spare change. Join our team, spread the word, and together we will make it work for all of us.
Paid for and approved by the Robert Quigley for President campaign.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Welcome back as we continue this conversation with Dr. Santosh. Dr. Santosh, one of the bigger questions I have is, what motivates you to embark on these often very dangerous missions to serve humanity, and how does your family prepare for this?
It's like when you go to this places like Ukraine or all this, like even Gaza or Central African Republic or Sudan, you can see a lot of people actually walking, not only not only me, but a lot of doctors, nurses across the world are coming there. And most of them, one of the interesting thing I have seen is that it's the doctors and nurses usually come to these places are actually from the places where there had been some conflicts before. So what I feel is that when people are used to it, it means they can actually understand what will be happening in a war, and they're not much afraid, or they can actually anticipate things and move accordingly and manage things like that. So I would rather compare this the journalists also do the same job. They also go to these places and take pictures and videos or and they report things. So actually, the humanitarian space is something which has started right back from the beginning of Red Cross. So I would rather put it this way: there is always a space. The humanitarian space is always there, and you need to recognize this space. And of course, it's dangerous, but most often we don't. When people leave, people are actually living in much more dangerous situations, and they don't recognize it because they are part of their lives. So only when you go out of this place and when you confront this, it seems to be dangerous. But more on the other side also, there has to be someone who has to go. It's not that we do the heroic activities like that. If you look at the number of people who we actually treat or who we have brought back to life is comparatively less. it ranges between 25 to 30%. It's just because like humanitarianism is right from the beginning. It's from the inception itself. It's a failure because on the you can see the amount of energy, resources, people who are working to make a war possible is much higher. A single missile costs like $10,000. Or like $10 million. A single missile costs $10 million, and $10 million would be the whole complete funding of even for Gaza. It might be like $10 million, or maybe at the most $20 to $25 million is the whole money which is given to the people of Gaza for humanitarian assistance. So a single missile is like 10 million. And you can see, you know that how many missiles are being used. So it's like so incomparable. It's like the resource going for making what possible is too high compared to the money which is given to save this people or to bring them right back into life. So there has to be someone to know this, to see this, and to witness this, and bearing witness is the most important thing I feel the medical community has to do in such a circumstances. Because medical community, including doctors, nurses, and paramedics, or whoever is working there, are close to the people, and we can touch the people, and we know what's really happening, and we see the death directly, we see the misery directly, and we see the reasons for this directly, and it's very important to tell to the world that such things are happening. So I appreciate your effort in bringing this out, or bringing me into this conversation to let me speak and tell this, that this is happening in this world, and what is happening in this world. It's not on a political scenario, but rather I speak from a medical scenario. It's like seeing the sufferings and the deaths and injuries, and this is like unacceptable, or we need to be against this anyhow. So that's the most important thing I feel. And looking from the family side, when I went for the first mission way back in maybe in 2005, I didn't tell my family that I'm going for a mission like that, because I knew that they wouldn't allow me to go to such a mission. But once I was back, they came to know that it's quite possible. So that's the most important thing. When you're in a country where it's already riddled by war, all the people know what's war. But when there's a place where it's not at all affected by war, people are so scared to go, and they don't allow their so close people to go there. So you need to take making your family understand that this is important, and there's a space, and you can still come back alive, and there is a lot of possibilities to do like this. It'd be really difficult, but maybe after a few instances, they know that it's working there. So and also I keep on telling this to the community here in my place, and also you, Dr. Saji, or to any other player like media, wherever I get a space, I try to tell these things, and this is really important, and people also recognize that telling this is also important, and that's how I manage the family. Now they know that's quite possible, and it's not that dangerous at all. So that's how we manage.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about the organization on behalf of whom you're working here? I think it is Project Hope, right?
Project Hope is a quite well-known organization in US. It has a very great long history. I think they started in 1954 after the Second World War. They got a ship from the President Eisenhower, and they went with this. They converted this ship, a warship, into a hospital, and they went to different places. First mission, I think, was in Indonesia, and they treated the people there. And they went with this hospital ship to different places, and they were working for like 20, 30 years in this one, and finally, when the world changes, it was not that like what's called economical to work from this thing. So they gradually like converted into the missions, into the direct missions, which when they go to the places directly and send people like that. And recently it has been Ravi Tobe, who had been like a very well-known person in US, I think so. He's been like the CEO of this organization. He's like leading this organization. The whole team is there. Very good team is there, and it's operating more than 20 countries across the world. And Ukraine is one of the country, and like Gaza, we were one of the organizations which we could start like this primary clinics and SRH, like SRH clinics and antenatal clinics. In very even from the beginning of the war, we could start that, and we could send a EMT team, which is like now working like in 24 hours around the clock in Al-Aqsa Hospital, and doing a great job. We have done more than like almost like reaching, our consultations are reaching up to 10,000 right now from the beginning of December. And a lot of work is like good work is being done by Project Hope in Gaza, and also in a lot of other emergencies and other health issues which is being faced by different population across the world.
Thank you for sharing all this, Dr. Santosh. I mean, I have a lot of questions to ask you, but we are running short of time. But I wanted to say once again that a lot of us who know you really appreciate the work you are doing, and I would also wish you the very best for your next assignment in Gaza and many more such engagements that you take on. So once again, thank you for coming on the show, and we will talk soon. And to our viewers out there, we'll see you same time next week.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Hi, folks. Robert Quigley here, America's Independent, Washington, D.C. We're on the road to the White House. Today, who is Quigley? I'm a Navy child from Lexington, Kentucky. I earned 3 law degrees, 2 bar exam passes. I worked in the trenches in East Asia and Europe for 10 years as a young man. I've got 30 years of business ownership experience, including retail stores, wholesale businesses, production workshops. I've done stints in finance on Wall Street and in many other areas. Quigley and team, we're taking the White House to make government work for the people. We will tackle climate repair, introduce Quigley Care. We're going to create millions of new business owners, millions of new homeowners. We're going to tackle student loans and lower inflation. The time has come to take back the government to solve problems. Go to robertquigleyforpresident.com, find the donor box button, donate your spare change. Team America needs you. Join. We will make America work for everybody.
Paid for and approved by the Robert Quigley for President campaign.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.